Hi guys, in this video we're going to be taking a look at some new themes that I recently came across for Gimp 2.10. Now it's been a couple of years since Gimp 2.10 came out, and I noticed that there was a lack of themes for Gimp 2.10, which is unlike Gimp 2.8 and Gimp 2.6, which had lots and lots of themes that were available. And if you look at some of my earlier videos, you'll see that I was using all kinds of interesting themes inside of Gimp. Recently, there has been a number of new themes. For instance, there's this Gimp to Photoshop theme. Now, I've tried this one out a couple of times, but I've never really found that it worked for me. The main reason being that when I tried on a large monitor, it doesn't seem to really do the business. And I've also found that it's been a bit slow to update when new icons come out for the toolbox. But it's one which is supposed to make things look a little bit more like Photoshop. And, maybe it's one that you'll try out if you want to see what this one is like. The one that we're going to be focusing on is actually a different one, which is called Clearlooks. And it's been updated recently, so hopefully it's got all the icons in it. And if we just click on this one, I'll have a link in the description to the web page. You can see that it's got a whole bunch of interesting stuff going on inside of the canvas. And it's mainly some fairly subtle looking highlights to the colors. Now this one I think is geared towards Windows, even though it is a GNOME project. And it's hosted on the GNOME Look website, but it is geared towards Windows, and you'll be able to get it to work fairly well inside of Windows. I'm not sure how well it works on Linux and other platforms, but I've got it to work pretty well on Windows. And there's some images that you can look at to see what it looks like. Let me see if I can find the snapshots. Okay, maybe I'll insert them in the video if I can later. What it is a way of adding a little bit of splash of color to the user interface. And the aim is to make it a little bit more obvious what the settings are and what's actually highlighted. For instance, if you are scrolling through a menu, you can see much more easily what menu item is actually being highlighted. Now, what you do to install this bad boy is, let's just get rid of this. Just go ahead and download this. And when it's finished downloading, you will get a very small file. Let's open it up inside of 7-zip, and you'll have a folder which is full of themes. And what we do is that we select these and then copy them into the themes folder inside of Gimp. Now, if you're not sure which is the themes folder, I'm going to show you which one that is. There is, however, another file that we need to copy over into Windows, and I'll come back to that one a bit later on. Let's move this out of the way. Now, this is the general installation folder for Gimp. And you will need to access this and then go into the themes folder, which is what I've done here. So literally, I've just gone ahead and dragged these files, these folders, into the themes folder. So this is the 2.10 folder. Lots and lots of subdirectories for you to place your presets and other little assets in. And this is the themes folder where you put in the Gimp themes. So just dragging these into there will make them available inside of Gimp. When you have so many, as you can see here, you might not need all of them. So to remove a theme that you know you're not going to use, for instance, I'm pretty certain I'm not going to use the small ones. You can just highlight them and then just delete. We won't do that yet. We'll go back to Gimp. Now here we are inside of Gimp. I'll have another video which has a few more instructions as to how to make this appear inside of Windows if you have difficulty seeing this particular folder. What I want to do is to actually show you what the themes look like. So we go to Edit Preferences, and we then go to Interface, Theme. Now in Gimp 2.10 there are lots of default themes which are down here in my listing. And these are the system themes that you might be very familiar with. Now in Gimp 2.10, we started off with 5 of these, and somewhere along the way we lost 1. So we've now got 4 of these, and then there are separate icon themes, and the icon themes can be changed to match the main theme, the main Gimp theme. Now for the new themes, they're suggesting that you use the symbolic or the symbolic inverted, which they say works best with the new themes. Let's go back to the theme, and I'm going to choose the one that I was showing you before, which is the Clearlook's dark teal hints. And you can tell this is version 1.2.1, and once again you can see the folder here where we place the themes. It's got a very dark teal color, and on top of that the text is quite a lot larger. So if I change it to another one, to the red one, this one, you'll notice the text is a lot smaller. And what I did there was that I actually went in and changed the text size for the teal hints one, because I felt for my particular machine the text just didn't look large enough. Now it allows you to go in and alter the text if you want to, and that's a little bit more advanced, and that's something I'll cover in a different video if you guys need to see that. But the other ones, let's say pink, they just add a little splash of color. Let me just go ahead and choose the small one so you can see what the small ones look like. That's the blue small. You can tell that the text here is a lot smaller. If we go to the light themes, so we've got the dark themes and then we've got the light themes, and we've got small and normal size in both of those. That's the light blue hints theme, and we've got the small one down here. And obviously you would choose the icon theme that works best with the particular main theme. And in this case, I think I would go probably and choose symbolic inverted. I think that one works very well. Let's hit OK. And you can see now in parts of the canvas, or parts of the package where we've got something highlighted, we just get this little hint of color telling us what's actually being selected, and it just makes it a little bit easier to recognize when something has changed. For instance, something that quite often gets people a little bit confused is when these settings are changed in the selection tool. In the selection tools, they all have those things there. The move tool can be a little bit confusing as well, because it can move layers, it can move selections, or it can move paths. And if it's not totally clear to you that something has been changed here, you might spend a couple of seconds trying to figure out what's going on when the move tool doesn't move what you want it to move. Now, let me go back to the preferences. Let's choose theme, and I'm going to go back to my teal hints, the one that I modified. You can see the slightly larger text, and the color, the original color was a lot lighter than this. I actually darkened this up quite a lot as well. So you can edit the themes quite as much as you want. They're just ordinary files that you open up, and if you've got a little bit of programming experience, you can go ahead and just program in whatever colors you want, whatever text size you want. It's pretty straightforward. Let me change this to a light. Okay, that's looking good. And of course, in the icon theme, we can change the size of the icons like that. So inside of the download file, we have another little folder, another zip folder, which is called Win Clearlook's GTK2 engine.zip. If I double click on that one, you'll see that there are 2 folders. Now the one that I need is the x64 folder, and that's because I've got a 64-bit version of Windows. If you have a 32-bit version of Windows, you would go for the x86. I'm just going to open up the README, And what it's telling us here is basically that you need to go ahead and copy either the 64-bit version of this file, and you need to place it inside this folder. So we'll just copy this. Let's move that. And what we will do is just go ahead, paste that location here, and that opens up the folder. You can see I've already put the dynamic link library inside here. It's sitting there nice and pretty. For Windows, you need to have this there for it to look as good as it does. And once that's done, shut down Gimp and then restart the Gimp, and it should work just fine. So that basically is how we get new themes inside of Gimp. Pretty straightforward, and like I say, it's possible to edit the themes and to make everything look a little bit different. That might well be another video, but we're gonna leave it at that for the time being. I hope you found some of this useful, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.